In today's video, we're going to take you on a historical journey through one of the most iconic and dramatic races on the calendar. From its humble origins carved into Dutch sand dunes to its modern rebirth fueled by Max Verstappen mania, the story of the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort is a beautiful one. Full of blistering wheel-to-wheel battles, heroic acts of bravery, and heart-wrenching tragedy, all set against the backdrop of this legendary seaside circuit. Let's revisit the magic and mystique that makes the Dutch GP so revered. Before we get into the story, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel and leave your thoughts in the section below. Nestled amidst the rolling sand dunes of the North Sea coast, just 40 kilometers west of Amsterdam, this seaside track has been a beloved fixture of the sport since its inauguration in 1948. From its beginnings as a passion project of Dutch motorcycling enthusiasts to hosting the first Dutch Grand Prix a year later, Zandvoort's heritage is steeped in the thrill and daring that epitomizes motorsport. The original 4.2-kilometer layout was a true test of skill and bravery, featuring multiple elevation changes and sweeping high-speed corners like the infamous Tarzan. A corner so treacherous, it's said to be named after a man who demanded it bear his name in exchange for relinquishing his vegetable garden to allow the circuit's construction. This unforgiving track, carved into the very fabric of the dunes and making use of World War II communications roads, quickly established itself as a formidable challenge even for the elite drivers of its era. While the Dutch Grand Prix was not a permanent fixture on the Formula One calendar in those early years, the races it did host from 1952 to 1985 wrote some of the most legendary chapters in the sport's history books. Who could forget the audacious bravery of Gilles Villeneuve in 1979? As the Ferrari star completed nearly an entire lap on three wheels after a tyre disintegrated, his one-handed muddy masterclass drawing roars of admiration from the mechanics who greeted him at the pit lane. Villeneuve's unforgettable feat perfectly encapsulated the rugged, uncompromising character of Zandvoort. This was a circuit that punished the slightest mistake with merciless consequences, yet also provided an incomparable thrill to those talented enough to masterfully tame its twists and gradients. The 1979 Dutch Grand Prix instantly etched itself into the pantheon of F1's most extraordinary driving exhibitions, or the fierce on-track battles that raged year after year, like the unforgettable 1977 clash between James Hunt and Mario Andretti as they disputed the lead, their cars making breathtakingly close contact at well over 200 kilometers per hour through the banked Tarzan sweep. Moments like these cemented Zandvoort's reputation as an unforgiving theatre of high-stakes drama, where legendary driving talents could truly etch their names in the history books. The 1977 incident perfectly captured the gladiatorial spirit that defined racing at the old Zandvoort layout. Two phenomenal talents, the reigning world champion Hunt and the versatile American star Andretti, dicing at the ragged edge as they fought for supremacy. There was simply no margin for error on this unforgiving ribbon of tarmac. Tragedy, too, has been intimately woven into the Dutch circuit's narrative. The loss of Pierre's courage in a horrific accident during the 1970 race sparked a pivotal safety drive that very nearly permanently silenced the roar of F1 engines at Zandvoort. With inadequate funds to implement mandatory improvements, the Dutch Grand Prix fell off the calendar in 1972 as drivers refused to race on the outdated layout. Its return a year later was short-lived, another life cruelly taken, when Roger Williamson perished in a fiery crash in 1973. David Purley was rightly awarded the prestigious George Medal for bravery for his selfless attempts to extricate Williamson from the inferno. But the incident cast a pall over the event once more. Ultimately, financial strains led to the race's permanent departure from F1 after 1985, the circuit itself falling into disrepair in the following years. The tragic events of 1970 and 1973 underscored the sobering reality that despite the immense glamour of Formula One, safety could never be taken for granted, even at celebrated venues like Zandvoort. The age-old conundrum, how to preserve the essence of danger that made the sport so captivating while implementing vital protections for its gladiators, loomed large. Zandvoort's temporary demise was a bitter pill, made more painful by its once glorious past. This was a track forged in the white heat of post-war passion, its heritage intertwined with icons like Joe Bonnier, the first Swedish driver to grace the F1 podium after taking pole, fastest lap and victory at the 1959 Dutch GP, or Jim Clark, who rewrote the record books with his 4 Dutch triumphs from 1963 to 1967, leading a stratospheric 370 laps around the undulating layout, a tally not even approached by any other driver in Zandvoort's illustrious history. To lose such an intrinsic piece of F1's fabric was profoundly lamentable. But just as its origins sprang from the passion of enthusiasts, so too did the grassroots swell for Zandvoort's comeback in the 2010s. The meteoric rise of Dutch racing superstar Max Verstappen ignited support across his home nation, his legions of fans packing grandstands in orange at races across the continent. As Verstappen's star ascended with his record-breaking feats, the calls for the Dutch Grand Prix's return became a force. The figures were staggering: over 1 million applications for tickets to the 2021 comeback event, despite the circuit's modest capacity. Clearly, the time was ripe for Formula One to return to the legendary dunes, and a €4 million revamp progressed at Zandvoort to prepare it for the modern era. Corners were widened, runoff areas expanded, and the final turn was given banking to promote overtaking. When the long-awaited 2021 Dutch Grand Prix weekend finally arrived, a kaleidoscope of orange-clad fans created an atmosphere of elation. Though pandemic restrictions limited the attendance to 2/3 of capacity, the spectacle was no less electric as their hero Verstappen crossed the line to record his maiden home Grand Prix victory. The roars of jubilation reverberated across the dunes that September day, the Dutch fans achieving the scenario they had dreamed of for over 3 decades. To witness their national sporting icon, a once-in-a-generation talent, conquer the hallowed Zandvoort tarmac was an emotional experience. The following year saw Zandvoort celebrate Formula One's return at full throttle, the attendance swelling to a record 305,000 over the weekend as Verstappen made it back-to-back triumphs on home soil. His 2023 win under dramatic rain-to-dry conditions only amplified the sense that this race had been forever reborn as an indispensable, unique piece of F1's culture. With a new multi-year contract extension, the Dutch Grand Prix seems primed to build countless more chapters of exhilarating action amid the sculpted dunes. The foundations have been set for Zandvoort to begin rivaling the sport's grandest events at Silverstone, Spa and Monaco in capturing the imagination of fans worldwide. From its rudimentary inception as a dream of local petrolheads to its return as a global spectacle, Zandvoort has survived the cruelest setbacks through an unbreakable bond with its fanbase. That intertwined multi-generational connection between the people and this sinuous ribbon of coastal asphalt is what elevates the Dutch Grand Prix into the pantheon of Formula One immortality. So as the greatest drivers on the planet continue to confront the challenges of Zandvoort's gradients and sweepers in years to come, you can be assured that the essence of all that makes this race so iconic, its heritage, its passion, its unyielding character, will endure. Thanks for watching today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel and leave your thoughts in the comments section below. See you in the next one.